I hope he goes Poppy. That'd be so much fun. But early picking a Poppy would be silly. As much as I enjoy it. There has to be a space there, Wizard. Also, people are limited to 2 song requests until your first song has been played. Yeah, you have to wait till your song's finished playing and then you can request another. Alright, so I'm going to start commenting on some picks and bans now. Draven ban is really, really weird to me. Draven is a pretty weak AD carry right now, in that his early game essentially got gutted with his nerfs, and as a result, even though he does get some bonus gold, he doesn't scale well into late game, even with that bonus gold. It used to be that his passive was giving him essentially 30% extra damage late game, and on an AD carry, that is absolutely massive. So, I don't agree with the Draven ban. I don't feel it's worthwhile. Maybe there's a reason behind that ban, but it just seems like a very, very odd choice to me personally. Caitlyn ban also seems very odd, unless you're maybe first picking a Vayne or something. But Caitlyn, again, she's very strong as a counter pick and a very good lane bully, but requires very good mechanics to work well and sort of questionable. Especially in solo queue, Caitlyn is usually not that dominant. She's a solid pick, but not quite ban-worthy. Blitzcrank Thresh, you're essentially saying, I don't trust my team to dodge grabs. That's 2 bans then required for 1 weakness of your team. I'm fine with them doing it. It's done a lot, especially in lower rated solo queues, but I would more prioritize learning to dodge skill shots. Nasa's solid ban in solo queue right now, Cassin solid ban in solo queue right now. Those 4 bans, eh. Someone was mentioning in chat that they banned Draven because they main him. Again, we're focusing on solo queue bans right now. If you're in a competitive setting, then yes, obviously you're going to do targeted bans versus the enemy. In this matchup, yeah, sure, go for it. Research your enemies as much as you feel like. But in solo queue, I wouldn't suggest banning Draven. As far as overall team comp here, we have AD carry Jinx on the one team versus what should be a Tristana. I'm interested to see if they swap or if that is a Malphite jungle. I would almost expect a Malphite top and Lee Sin jungle, but they work either way. Kayle, I'm guessing, is going to be mid. Fate, of course, playing as Diana. We'll see if he builds Athene still or if he has learned his lesson. We always make fun of him for that. Kayle against Darius is a really good pick. Yes, Kayle actually does very, very well versus Darius. So that would make sense. That being said, Lee Sin mid versus a Diana is a very snowbally lane. Lee Sin can win that quite easily if you play Lee Sin well, but either champion has a very strong possibility of snowballing that lane. So again, they first picked the Lee. I like that from a you have no idea where I'm going standpoint. Yeah, sure, I'll play him mid, I'll play him top, I'll play him jungle, wherever. But I just don't know how that matchup's going to go, just because I haven't played it that many times myself. May work out very well for him. Sona and Jinx, that's a very, very strong poke lane, versus a Tristana Nami they have good poke, but they mostly rely on their all-in engages, where they get a good bubble, they get a lot of burst on, and Sona is going to be able to sustain through that reasonably well. Aatrox jungle, very good early ganks with the passive being able to dive in there. You can still sign up. We're doing more games throughout the day. You can sign up at profornever.com. Also, you guys are more than welcome to request music. So now we have a 3-minute delay while we get into game. Overall team comps, blue team is going to scale incredibly well because Tristana with a Kayle ult. Tristana is a very, very strong late game carry, although he does take a long time to build up to that state, a lot longer than some other hyper carries such as Vayne, who essentially get one item and they're ready to go. Tristana, she really does want her Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper combo, as well as she wants some lifesteal in there, so she kind of needs 3 or 4 items to really be super effective. Vayne, on the other hand, she's going to be very effective earlier, but when you think about it, you have a Malphite ult. You can then follow that up with Nami ult and Bubble, and then the Tristana is just going to be constantly poking away. Lee Sin's going to be peeling very effectively with his kick and his attack speed slow, and then if they ever actually get a full dive on Tristana, Kael's just going to ult and boom, free damage. Ask Brian if you can be in the next game. He's matchmaking people based on their preferred role and their rating. That being said, sure, I'll mention that Wizard wants to be in the next game. I don't know if he'll listen. No, he won't listen. Again, if you get selected, you're welcome to play whatever you'd like. We're preferring people do their primary role. That being said, if no one's accepting or there's no one near their rating, we are selecting then from secondary role. And we're giving secondary roles a little bit of an elo advantage where we want them to be a little higher ranked than the primary roles, just so that it balances out a little better. This song's so boring. Yeah. Darius running teleport. Meh. It's a fine choice on him, but you're giving up most of your early game kill potential. Aatrox's ganks are very strong, so I would expect them to try and snowball that Darius early, because he is going to be in a very difficult lane. I'm turning off my volume so I don't have to listen to this. It's so boring. Okay, we're almost done our delay, then we're going to load in. The stream description is reasonably accurate. I sometimes start late, I sometimes start earlier though. But as far as like what days I stream, yes, those are days that I always stream. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday are my main stream days. So that's listed there and the approximate times I stream. Sometimes I will start early or late though. Alright, we're gonna load into game here. Good luck to both teams. How long have I been streaming today? Only a couple hours. I just did a couple warm-up games before the matches here. Alright, we're finally loading in here. Okay, how long is this song? Fuck it, I'm skipping it. This is like a 6-minute song. I put up with it for long enough. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. We let you play like 4 minutes of it, come on. We're trying to fit as many people into these games as possible. Brian's handling the matchmaking right now. He's going to start inviting people around halfway through this game, so that way everyone's in the selection room here and ready to go as soon as we're finished commentating. Also worth mentioning, a lot of these goals, those are their team ratings, not their solo queue ratings. I'm just going to add a little text thing here. Yeah, chat room makes it so much easier. Oh, that is way, way, way too big. That's still way too big. Alright, whatever, I'm just gonna leave it there. If anyone has complaints with that, let me know, but I can't answer questions when I'm in game too much. So, yeah. As far as starting builds here, we have a Doran's Blade start on Aatrox. That actually works very well, especially when you have a very strong leash, such as... oh wait, they don't have Nami. I'm crazy. Other team. Either way, Doran's Blade is a valid start on Aatrox. It gives you a lot of early game gank pressure. On the other hand, we have pretty much standard start. I will line these up before you guys yell at me. Wait, I would assume it's Kale. There we go. Okay, so we have Diana starting with Crystalline Flask. That's a very valid start, especially versus someone who's going to be bullying quite heavily early games, such as a Lee Sin. She doesn't definitely know if it's a Lee Sin or a Kale, but still a very good idea to start that. Darius has actually gone Cloth Armor, so I'm assuming he thinks he's versus Lee Sin. That being said, it is a lot of mixed damage from Kale, so it's not going to harm him that much. He also went an early ward. I kind of like that because Darius is so susceptible to early ganks. That being said, Malphite's not going to be ganking that much super early. He does kind of want to rush to level 6. Other than that, pretty much standard start. That being said, it looks like Nami is not running Utility Masteries. So I'm not exactly sure what she's running here. Yeah, Utility Masteries are really strong. Even if you're going fairly heavily into defense, I would still suggest picking up a little bit of utility so you can get that extra little bit of vision, a little bit of sustain. Good dodges here. That being said, got caught out for the auto attacks. She's avoiding most of the skills. Good job. Lee Sin's going to be trying to all-in early on Diana, but Diana can handle all-ins reasonably well early game, especially if she puts an early point with shield, which, yeah, she definitely has. Looks like Aatrox is trying to land an early gank mid. That would be a fantastic choice for him because, as I mentioned earlier, his early ganks are so strong. Diana didn't stay in range though. Diana should have been a little bit more aware of where the jungler was and followed that gank up a little bit, even if it's only to land a quick Q. Get that extra damage in there. The Nami is 9021. Why does she not have her Biscuit or Explorer Ward then? Oh, wait. I'm going to back that up again. So Lee Sin most likely decide to go in, even though Aatrox is still here. If you don't know where the jungler is, don't go in. Did miss the Q, got the flash though, and then... Perfect job. Diana was able to then flash in and pick up that kill. I would suggest she be zoning there a little bit more, and try and get as much damage as possible on. We have a quick pause coming out. Why is Darius pushing Kale? Darius pushes during his harass, and that's one of his greatest weaknesses. If you don't play him properly, you're going to be pushing in. Alright, good kill there on Malphite. That being said, a lot of that was just Diana not dealing damage while he was in his little pool. His resurrection pool. If they got just a little bit more damage on there, I think they could have turned and fought. Darius now is going back. He's only up 2 CS. He's probably going to burn his teleport, doing a quick buy and teleporting back to lane. That's my guess anyways. Yeah, teleport down. As blue team, I would be paying attention to that and letting my team know, okay, they have no global pressure now. Don't worry about them. He is good at putting a good amount of bully damage in on this Kale. Kale is out of mana, so he has good kill potential. But again, he gave up so much of it by running teleport. Not that he shouldn't have run teleport, but he kind of needs those early ganks if he wants to snowball this lane. Because Kale is just going to get more and more of a terror for him. Alright, good pull. He may actually land this kill, but we have a quick counter gank, or not counter gank, but we have a quick gank coming in here to save Kale. Kale has no mana though. At this point, I would suggest she go back and Malphite just hold the lane. Because that's legit, you land any damage on Kale, you're going to die. Yeah, Aatrox, good job showing up there, knowing that that's where Malphite would be, but not really going to be able to do too much. I'm going to be doing about 3 or 4 matches tonight. Depends on how long my voice lasts. Bot lane here, pretty much even. Tristana has a little bit of a CS advantage. A lot of that, though, is just going to be the pressure that you get from Nami bubbles. Landing that bubble, I would have expected Trist to move up a little bit and land some return damage. So much poke going back onto Nami. I would have been a little bit careful about that. They may actually land a kill here. Nope. If they were able to land an extra little W here, they would have had the slow on and could have easily just jumped in for a final auto attack or two. As far as mid lane, Diana is actually building a fairly heavy CS advantage, which I wouldn't expect. Lee Sin should be able to bully her out. I think that just boils down to champion knowledge, though, and knowledge of the role in the lane. Like, he's landing Qs, but he's not really going in or doing anything with it. You need to abuse the cooldowns of her shield. When it's on cooldown, you need to go in and land as much harass as you can. Instead, he's just, like, passively staying back and trying to farm with Q, and you can't get away with that as mid lane Lee Sin. You have to be landing early kills. Is the song too quiet? I can always turn it up. I have another gank here coming from Malphite. He's spending a lot of time in this lane. Great counter gank there by Aatrox. Unfortunately missed the Moonfall just slightly. They should have been able to kill Malphite there, but not the end of the world. They got a good amount of damage in. Yeah, Aatrox is standing on top of a ward now. I would expect Aatrox to get picked off. Oh, he hit Diana instead. They can actually turn this around now. They need to be more decisive. Diana is level 6. Lee Sin is not. Aatrox, all he needs to do... Okay, you got the kill anyways. But all Aatrox had to do there was land a double knock-up and then just walk away. His passive is up. Walk away, take that little bit of damage onto yourself, and then just revive as Diana cleans up with her ult. At this point, they have a... Ooh. Depends on how quickly he bursts. I think he's... No, he's not even going to get the passive. So that's blue buff over to purple team. Great job securing that. Or they should be able to secure that. Just knowing when it's up, knowing that they could get away with that. Oh, they didn't smite it. If you're playing... If you're doing an invade like that, the key goal there is to make sure the enemy team does not get the blue. So Aatrox should have just smited it there. His smite is up. Okay, back bot lane here. Still not that much happening. Dead even in CS, although Jinx does have that early kill. The junglers are both spending a lot of time on this mid lane, where I would expect them to be spending a lot of time top lane. I would expect them to try and clear out these wards. Both top laners have a ward, so good for them for placing those down. I would expect this to be going more in Kale's favor. It's possible that she's just getting baited out with these hooks. It's difficult to tell, though. Either way, good job on Darius to get that harass in there. He has actually gone an early Merc Treads. I like that for the mobility and CC reduction and magic resist that he's going to need to survive this harass. And because he can rely on his base damages for the most part. Darius is very, very strong in just sort of a base damage bruiser style of play. Building full damage on Darius doesn't really work that well anymore. I would assume they'd give this blue over to... What are they doing? She ran back to try and clear the wave. And in the meantime, you're just allowing Aatrox to take so much damage there when you could have just walked over, Q'd it, and walked back mid lane. Ooh, Lee Sin should be able to get this kill. Or not. Malphite, I would expect him to ult. Perfect job there. Good kick, actually. That being said, he does have his passive up. I got the flash. It was just a little bit of a misplay from blue team. Good collapse to catch Diana out, but I think that Lee Sin should have been kicking him back towards Malphite and then Malphite ulting the lone target. Yeah, that was just a little bit of a misplay. They needed to communicate that better of who they were focusing, what they were trying to do. Aatrox had passive, Aatrox had flash. They burned the passive, they burned the flash, but they got no kills out of that. They should have been able to instantly pop Diana with their CC, and then if Aatrox decided to follow in, you could have killed him as well, or at least burned his passive. Alright, Malphite's coming down here. He does not have ult though, so I would expect this to not really turn into anything. As far as warding, purple team has a lot of wards in the bush here. Every single workshop I do, this bush is so hotly contested, and it's not that important. I'm going to back up and catch that kill mid lane, because I did not watch it. Looks like Diana just 100-0's Lee Sin here, so yeah. Lee Sin takes the entire burst and then turns around to just auto-attack. I don't know exactly what he's doing here. He's also built cloth armor. Diana's magic damage. And, like, are you worried about the Aatrox damage? It just seems an odd choice. If I were him, I'd be trying to rush some early game damage and then scale into utility for mid game through items like Sightstone, Randuin's, that sort of stuff. But early game, you need the damage to be able to 100-0 Diana if you ever catch her out. Diana has cloth armor. I would expect her to finish that into an arm guard early. Arm guard is a fantastic item, especially when you're versus AD casters like this. She needs to get that early arm guard, get that early game hourglass, and she's going to be able to absolutely stomp this lane. Darius has actually got the first turret of the game. So, oh, Diana right after. Yeah. Good pushing power here. I'm interested to see. Lee Sin didn't kick him. You're in position to land the kick, just kick her back into your team. And now we have great counter gank there by Aatrox. I still don't even think they're going to get this Diana. Lee Sin is holding onto his kick. You don't need to. It's such a low cooldown. And, yeah, there you go. His ult is... Oh, he finally used the ult and got nothing from it. Lee Sin needs to use his ult. You use the ult to keep them in range so you can land further damage. You also use it before you use your Q so that your Q does bonus damage because it's based on missing health. This Darius has been doing well. I haven't focused much there because it is a rather boring lane for me. I don't play top lane. Every time I look up there, Darius is just bullying him out. And, well, that's a great job for him. It doesn't give me much to commentate on besides the fact that Kayle needs to be abusing her range and landing all the harass he can. Yeah. You're gonna die. If he lands even a little bit more damage onto you, you can just ult. Good job returning the damage, though. You just need to be managing your damage trades a little bit better. I would also suggest rushing an early arm guard. He's doing almost exclusively physical damage. And so he really needs to get that armor so he can survive this lane. As much as I like the early cooldown reduction, I like the early attack speed, you need to find a way to survive this Darius. At this point, good job, didn't get caught by the pull this time. You need to bait that pull out. When he walks forward to try and pull you, you need to take a step back, make it miss, and then return with your own orb walked damage with a nice little bit of slow from the E, I think it is. Yes, I'm right. Wait, no, E is heal. Q. Okay. I don't play kill. Diana again. Lee's having to use ult to escape. He also decided to go red pot. I do not agree with that. At this point, you're just falling so far behind. You need to find a way to make plays for yourself. Whether that's kicking people back into your turret when you have a gank, or whether it's roaming, that's up to him. But he needs to find a way to make these plays work for him. Alright, they've caught Diana out here. Oh. Kayle had her ult up. She needs to know that Diana is fed. You need to not be caught out by that. Again, securing blue buff. Good job in timing that and reacting. Again, a little bit of misplay there. Also, good job on Fate not building Athenes this time. We've insulted him for building it every single game, and it's working out for him. Exactly. Oh, just barely missed the knock-up. Although, it's not going to make any difference. Oh, good flash. Good reaction time there on Lee to get out of the Diana. The Diana Storm, I'm going to refer to it as. I would call him Hurricane Diana, but then you guys would laugh at me for insinuating that Hurricane's a natural item worth building. Okay, looks like they're going to try and trade this in for bot turret, although I don't think they're going to get it. Aatrox is at blue buff. He could easily cycle down, and Jinx is already here, so I don't think they're going to get that, but good pressure, just trying to make something happen on the map. They also do have good ward coverage. They have a ward on River, they have a ward on exit to the enemy blue buff, they have Tribush warded, good ward coverage on Nami's part. Actually, Fantastic has both bottom bushes warded as well. There's a really early ult from Aatrox. The actual activation of it deals a lot of burst damage, so I would expect him to use it after he jumps in. Either way, they got that quick support kill. They should be able to turn this around on a Malphite as well. Oh. Nice job keeping him in range just long enough to get the kill onto Sona. I didn't skip anything. Ew. What the fuck is this? I'm skipping this. So Lee Sin overstaying again. Turret's dying. You're not going to be able to 100 to 0 them, and so you just stay there, wait till the turret dies, and then kick the lone target. That's, again, just misplays. You need to work on your mechanics with Lee Sin. He is a very mechanics-intensive champion, so I'm not saying that he's trash or anything, but he does need to practice those a little bit. He needs to look for what opportunities will work for him. Ooh, I haven't heard this yet. This is really good. Anyways, purple team securing Dragon. They didn't clear it first, but they didn't need to, because they just got those kills bot lane. Good job turning that into a further advantage. I would expect them to now go back by, get an early couple items, maybe take red buff and try and push down mid lane. They have Hourglass is finished on Diana, Bloodthirster's finished on Jinx, Spirit Visage is finished on Darius. Like they have a lot of tankiness, they have a lot of damage. They should be able to turn this into really, really easy team fights. Jumped out of the queue there. Good job. As far as build, he's decided to go for Hex Drinker, Double Dorans, and Boots of Speed. That's actually not a bad choice for him, but he just didn't manage his early engages properly versus the Diana. Like, he needs to be landing some ward kicks or something, getting them back into the team, getting some damage onto her. At this point, though, you kick Diana into your team, she's gonna do a shit ton of damage, Hourglass, and then return with a second set of cooldowns. Now Aatrox is here, they're gonna get this. Or I expect they should get this. Unfortunately, Diana did miss the Q. Still able to get in there with the Ignite. Good escape there by Lee, realizing that you can just jump to minions. Aww. I was hoping it would hit an ally. Alright, Diana just pushing in mid here. Looks like they're trying to make a play bot lane here. Good catch there by Malphite, but I don't think it's going to turn into anything. Tristana has Bloodthirster, so she has some solid damage output right now, but I just don't think they're going to be able to pull anything out at this time. No, it doesn't explode on allies. Brian will be handling the invites very soon. Sona has her ult up. I would expect with the items that Jinx has right now, if they land an ult in, they should be able to get a quick kill or two. You need to sign up with the rating that you actually play at for the role you signed up with. If you're gold, sure, whatever, but don't play your main role and try and be accurate in rating, because we want to keep these games as balanced as possible. Obviously, there are going to be one-sided games. We have to choose from like 20 or 30 players. But I would really appreciate it if you guys help make this as balanced as possible. Jinx is using a lot of her mana there to try and AoE clear. It's not going to really cause an issue, but I feel like that's a little thing she needs to work on. You want pretty much full mana on AD carries. Poke. Aatrox jumping in here. Oh, the Sona flash ult just missing. Again, just timing issue. I would suggest they work on that a little bit. Good job on Lee Sin and Malphite to get down here for the quick counter gank. What are you doing? Good job with the... That was an Ignite. That was red buff. And E. It was a good job kicking him into the turret, but he didn't then need to flash back to him. He's dead. He's in his passive. Diana, I think, is going to be able to just clean this up so easily. She has her Hourglass still. Just jump into the turret, clean up that quick kill. They could even technically turn it on to Malphite if they wanted to. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to instead... They should take that red buff. Even though Diana already has red buff and doesn't really want it, take it away so the enemy team doesn't get it. She's deciding not to. I'm assuming to go clear her own blue buff. It would have taken her all of a few seconds to clear this. I would have suggested she do that. Take any advantage you can get when you're this far ahead. No, I'm skipping this. I'm not listening to Miley Cyrus try and rap. I'm going to back this up slightly. I just want to see how they caught them out there. So, Malphite's doing red buff. There is a purple team ward that probably saw him go in there. Darius was able to just walk in, get a good chunk of damage on. Oh, Malphite smited that way too early, and then died for it. Boom. Good job on them picking that up. I would personally clear this so you get the timer on it. Kayle gonna try and get some split push on here. I would be very surprised if she doesn't get this turret. There's no one reacting to this. So good job on her to notice that, okay, all the pressure is bot lane right now. I need to make some sort of advantage for my team. So take this quick turret. That'll get you a little bit of gold back to your team, although you are about 12,000 gold behind right now. I'm going to comment on CS and builds again now, so I'm just going to set this to auto-follow Aatrox while he's being manly. Aatrox has decided to go for Blade of the Ruin King. At this point, I would suggest that he translate back into a tanky build. Damage on Aatrox is perfectly fine. I actually really like it as an early buy. But at this point, he needs to start scaling up for the mid-late game, let's end this sort of fights. He is more than double Malphite CS. Malphite has gone for more standard build of Ancient Golem and Chain Vest. I'm not sure what the Chain Vest is to build into. Maybe Sunfire. That would be my best guess. And he has Oracles, which he's not used yet. I'm not sure if that's because their support already has one, or if they just don't feel that it's crucial enough at the moment. He's just so far behind on farm at this time. Oh, Sona again missing her ult. Again, that's just practice with the champion. She's actually going to die to this, I would expect. Maybe not. Oh. He's just getting caught out by Diana at this point. Good cleanup, though. I'm actually very surprised that Kayle didn't die. I would have expected it. That might have been just a slight misplay on like resetting auto attacks or something with Diana. Either way, good job blue team getting that kill. I then am... Okay, he has the Oracles pop now. I would hope that they would get this dragon. Although it's going to be risky. Yeah, don't start it. They need to be able to get that vision and control it. They're not going to get the dragon here. No way. Back on builds and farm. Darius is about 20 CS ahead of Kayle, and that boils down to his early game harass that he pulled off. They need to collapse on this Malphite and get a quick, easy kill. They also managed to pull the Nami at the same time. Kayle used her ult. It's not going to count for much, though. They're going to get that quick kill. Lee Sin, actually, very good job there. I would have suggested he land the initial Q first, then kicked and then pulled himself to them. But either way, good job picking up that kill and almost escaping. They do know how to pause. They've already done it once this game. Aatrox picking up a quick dragon for his team. Good job realizing that they had that advantage. I would then suspect that they should try and set up a Baron very soon. They have the damage for it. At this point, you're so far ahead, you need to force a team fight or a major objective. At this point, while dragons are nice, it's 25 minutes in the game, so that gold isn't going to really count for much, especially when you're about 13,000 gold ahead. So, I would suggest pushing this turret quickly if you can, and then try and set up a Baron. Yeah, you're not going to be able to take this turret now. They've reacted. Okay, back to the builds here. Kayle still doesn't have Berserker's Greaves. I don't agree with Berserker's Greaves on Kayle. I would have suggested Merc Treads or Source Boots. The reason being is the attack speed from the Berserker's Greaves is actually very, very small. It's only 20%, and you get that very, very cheaply from other items. I would have suggested building items to survive that lane, whether that's Merc Treads to survive the CC and magic damage of the Diana. Good catch out here, just bush camp, pick up a free kill. I would then suggest they translate that bottom lane for free turret, and possibly even a free team fight. Again, I would suggest either Merc Treads to survive CC, Source Boots if you're able to actually land your poke and damage, or maybe even Ninja Tabi to survive the auto attack damage from Jinx and obviously Darius and Aatrox. Free tower for them, good job. Unfortunately that slow from Jinx just barely missed. Either way, yeah, I have some issues with the Kayle's build. She did get the Nashers, but I just don't agree with those boots. They're almost never worth it. The only reason you build them on AD carries is because there's no other viable options. And even now, a lot of AD carries that do magic damage are building Source Boots, or they're building Merc Treads if they're ever being focused. Back to builds and farm. Lee Sin's just so very far behind in farm. He does have his Sightstone now, he does have his Merc Tread, so he's going to be a little bit tanky in these fights and going to have some decent utility, but it's just too far behind at this point to matter. Oh. Almost got the Jinx with that ult. Aatrox is missing a lot of his knockups. It's not making a large difference, but again, that's just a little bit of a misplay there. I'd suggest practicing those. Maybe paying a little bit more conscious attention to them. At this point, you have Inhibitor turret, you have Inhibitor, you have a huge advantage. I would suggest get Oracles, you already have Oracles. I would heal, get your final buys, and go force a Baron. You either get a complete free Baron, or you get a free team fight, because there's no way for them to fight you at this point. Okay, I would suggest they give this red over to Tristana. They're going to need it for this final fight. Or what should be the final fight. I'm actually going to leave item and CS builds till the end of the game. I'm hoping that's a disconnect there from Nami. Yeah, she's back. Good. No one's reporting anyone. The only reason to report would be negative attitude. If someone is verbally abusing or raging in these games, please send a screenshot to either me or Brian. They will be permanently banned from these workshops. This is a positive environment, no raging. This poor Sona, she's missing every one of her ults. Again, it's not mattering that much. Good pickup there with the Darius ult. But yeah, she needs to work on those just a little bit with aiming them, when to use them, when not to. But either way, it doesn't matter. They're going to get a free Baron, and then I would suggest that they just barrel down mid and get just finish the game. People are requesting these songs. I'm actually going to skip this because we just listened to Dragon Force. Why can I not skip the song? There we go. Alright, they're pincering in on mid. Just force this. Darius is going to split push, that's fine. They don't actually need him to win this team fight. That Nami ult, completely unnecessary. You're not going to save the turret with it, and your team is not in a position to fight. Use a Nami ult to either disengage a fight that like your team is about to die from, or to keep them in range for a fight that you're trying to engage on. And neither of those were the case here. They're going to get a second inhib here, third inhib, and they just need to end the game. Sona's getting chased in. They're going to get that kill. Personally, if I was blue team, I wouldn't bother with them. Just ignore them and take their base. End the game right now. Yeah, they're just trying to get the moral victory of killing the Sona. Just kill the base, end the game. Good job, purple team, especially Diana obviously got very fed. I would suggest, as I mentioned earlier, Lee Sin just work on his mechanics and engages and damage trades a little bit. He could have bullied Diana out a little bit earlier in the game. Need to abuse the cooldown of her skills and engage when her shield's on cooldown, much like versus like a Riven or something like that, who's going to block a lot of your engage if you don't bait out that shield. Signups are still open. I believe Brian has everyone invited for the next game. I'm going to do a quick rundown of builds, a couple comments on plays, although I would suggest you read through some of them after I upload the videos here. 1 second, I'm just going to change the text here. Alright, so final builds. Tristana has Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer. That's pretty standard on her. I would suggest you build towards Last Whisper because there is a lot of tanky targets on the enemy team. She did actually stay even in farm, so good job there, maintaining that CS. That being said, just not quite there. I'm skipping the song. I hate this music. Like, what the fuck are you people requesting? Malphite. He fell way behind in farm. He pulled off a couple decent counter ganks, but if you're that far behind in farm, you're that behind in levels, you need to make up for it. Whether that's split pushing lanes, whether that's farming your jungle, that's up to you, but you need to find a way to stay in the game. If you're behind and you just keep trying to gank and they're not working for you, you're just going to fall further and further and further behind. Lee Sin, as I mentioned early, he had the ability to bully Diana out of lane. Diana actually had a very risky lane there if Lee Sin was landing his combos, landing his harass. Big point there is abuse Diana's cooldowns. If she's used her shield, jump out. Like, just jump out, make that wasted cooldown, and then jump back in as soon as it's done. He landed a lot of Qs and then wasn't going in on them. You should be able to Q, E, auto attack, and then W away before she counters that much. Nami landed some good early bubbles, good pressure on her part. She tended to stay in range too long though. Took a lot of auto attack harass in return. Also, never built Sightstone. Sightstone is pretty much required right now. It is a large portion of your warding and a large portion of your gold pretend, or effective gold pretend because you're getting those free wards. Kayle, I mentioned earlier, I do not like attack speed boots on Kayle. Attack speed boots are very, not bad, but they're not that efficient compared to your other options. You could have gone Merc Treads to deal with CC, you could have gone Source Boots to if you were landing your poke consistently, or you could have gone Ninja Tabby to survive Darius's harass. Any of those three options would have been better. Also, looks like building into a Death Cap? Maybe a Sheen would have been better instead of the Blasting Wand. It's difficult to say though, you did have a difficult lane. Darius, if he gets that advantage and plays it properly, is going to do quite well. That being said, you have to abuse Kayle's range, harass him as much as you possibly can. Great job on Diana's part. I really like that you finally listened to us and didn't build the Athenes. As much as, yes, you want the mana, you want the cooldown reduction, etc., it's not a very solid item on Diana. There are better items to rush. I also really like that you did the early arm guard. That secured your advantage versus Lee Sin. Once you get that arm guard, it's very difficult for him to get back into the game. Also, solid build through the rest of the game. Lichbane, great item. Void Staff, great item. I would have probably translated this into... I don't even know what I'd build after this. You could have gone Death Cap, or you could have gone Guardian Angel. Either of those two items would have worked. Aatrox, good job. I would have suggested after the Blade of the Ruin King, though, going a little bit tanky. You have crazy damage output from Diana, Jinx, and the rest of your team. I would have suggested, okay, you have that great early damage and chasing power from Blade of the Ruin King and your kit itself. No need to build further damage at that point. Then again, you're so far ahead, it's not really harming you. I just would have preferred if maybe like a Randuin's or something. Jinx, solid build, not really any complaints. I would have suggested she focus a little bit more on farming and maybe conserving mana for more aggressive plays. I noticed that she was using a lot of her AoE mana per auto attacks to try and harass people, or not harass people, to try and push the wave. You don't need to push the wave. You can freeze the wave and just zone them from any sort of farm. You could have built up a bit better of an advantage that way. Darius, good job building tanky here. I believe I had him in an earlier game and he built like first time Blade of the Ruin King. I prefer tanky Darius. It's just more versatile, more reliable. I didn't actually see him use his teleport that much. I might suggest that communicate with your team a little bit better and be like, okay, we want to land a dragon play. We want to land a gank in their jungle. We want to do insert blank here. He could have used that teleport maybe a little bit better, but again, when you're that far ahead, the teleport really isn't needed as much. Teleport's more of a, let's get back into the game, sort of a playmaker. Sona, solid items. No real complaints there. I didn't get to see too much of that, though. So, there's your general advice. I will be cutting and uploading these games.